is for you to lead, guide, and direct us and have us do things in your will. Bless the new councilman coming in, Marco Parr, that he will be under your guidance and for the betterment of the city. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In the package, you have the minutes from the meeting on April 30th.
Motion.
Motion second, any discussion, corrections? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Finance?
Yes, sir. We got our numbers in for the month of March. On sales tax 1 and 2, we're running about 124,000 monthly. Continuing with that average as our income for the next 3 months will be a little shy of 300,000 over on our anticipated income. Also, our other numbers, capital improvements, numbers came in 31,756. Use tax, it came in at 27,556, which is in line with the last couple of months. Let's see. Storm drainage, 59,732, and our transportation was at 63,512. Overall, we're operating under budget, so things are looking pretty fair.
Good deal.
If we continue at this rate, we should be okay for the remaining of this year. We'll start talking about the new year between now and the end of June.
I was going to ask when we were going to have our first meeting on that.
I'd say whenever the department heads are ready to and they start telling us, we'll set up a meeting.
Sounds like a plan.
Oh, yes, yes, and we did have to switch some,
I don't know why I haven't seen this before, but I just saw it getting the statement prepared for tonight. Under 911,
and the code.
employee retirement expense, if you'll notice on there, nothing has been spent, but we have budgeted $11,580. And under code and fire inspection, the same thing, we have budgeted $12,000, but we haven't spent anything. The way loggers is set up, 911 and code and fire is under the general fund, which is under general administration. So I was asking Steve that we need to move the $11,580 and the $12,000 over into general admin. We're not changing the total of
The
the
overall's gonna be the
budget.
same.
We're either just gonna have 2 departments that didn't spend any money and 1 department that's gonna be over.
I just want you to be aware of it.
Should be next year in the budget, just eliminate that line item?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We'll figure it.
We need to vote on
Motion and.
I'll make the motion.
Motion?
Second.
Second, okay. Any questions, you understand what I'm saying? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Correct the numbers. All right. Human resource?
I don't have anything for the public at this time.
Police,
I just- Go ahead.
The police chief's absent tonight, and wish him well. He's up in Cape, had a heart attack, and I understand last report I got, he was, had a stent put in, was doing okay. They have to have another second stint put in. You may have later info that I've got.
That's, Rick, do you have
That's,
anything
that's
else?
all I know right now.
My thoughts and prayers are with the chief and fast recovery. Police, nothing?
That's all I was gonna say there, pretty much thoughts and prayers go out to Johnny, that's all I have.
Street,
Sure. We've got, we'd like to request expenditure of funds for a pressure washer. We need to get this in order to keep our equipment in shape. We've already talked to finance. It is a budgeted item. It's $6,248.50. We have taken bids on it. This was the low bid. Just as what we're doing is we're gonna have this in a contained area. It brings us in compliance with stormwater issues, and it's a way to keep everything moving the way we need to. It's heavy duty. So I'd like to make a motion that we purchase that item.
motion second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Do you have the bids? Be careful when you make copy.
When-
Okay.
I also want to, I met with the township board members the other day, and we're looking at trying to get together after the construction year is over with, and trying to work together on some projects and further our relationship. There's a lot of projects that we cannot do unless we have the cooperation of the township. The best example is South Jackson. And we're gonna continue to, we agreed to get back together as soon as we finish this construction year and see what we can do to further the cause for all of us.
Departments? All right.
Last couple of weeks, we've been busy, doing some training we had offered to us from survival flight, the air medical helicopter crew. And we, last 2 days, been doing a specialized pre-hospital trauma life support, which basically is a little more advanced than just some basic stuff for like car wrecks or people that have been involved in a traumatic accident. They've pretty well done it free. Some of needed the CEUs and the certification, which run us about $120, which of course alone would have been about $100 a person, so we saved quite a bit of money, and that trying to build a relationship with them as well as Medic One here for the betterment of our community. Just, if you heard not, they had a water main break out in the rural area and it affected the animal control shelter. So they got the water restored, but there for a period of time, there was no water available out in that part of the community. We did have to issue a stop work order. I sent it out to the mayor, city attorney, and the chairman. We got that resolved with the issue. Individual was constructing apartments in a building without permits, and it was noticed, and he cooperated. We put a stop work order on it Friday, and as of now, everything's been resolved. He's got plans and all that stuff, so you're in control on that. It's just a matter of life safety issues and doing work without permit. Permit didn't cost anything, so we got that resolved. Other than that, Victor's been out to, I think it was more of the storm water, it could have been the, there's two different ones there, stormwater management and also the floodplain management. They both have to deal with water, but they're two separate things. So it's looking good so far on the new maps, and that's he went out there not to do too many changes, but to let them accept it, and hopefully if the floodplain administration out of emergency management doesn't change anything, it could take quite a bit of the old floodplain off the city and some of the subdivisions and that. So it's just a work in progress. It may take years before we actually know it, but what he did is we went to that initial seminar and he come back and they didn't have a lot of the bridges and water flows on the map because they did an aerial view. And Victor went back and looked in and put in where the bridges were, which allows water to flow rather than back up, and that's what changed things. So hopefully for our community, every piece of property that we can get out of there can save somebody from that mandatory flood insurance. So that's the goal. But we just don't want to get people out saving the money and then end up having something and there's a loss there. So it's kind of a two-way street, but it's looking good so far. Any other questions or anything? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Please.
I'd like to ask everybody to remember our chief in their prayers for speedy recovery. I don't have a whole lot. Our calls for service for the last quarter was 4,807 calls. Out of that, we actually initiated 615 reports. The others was handled on scene or whatever means. Our officers stopped 577 cars in this quarter. They issued 195 citations for different reasons. As far as I know, there's no special programs or anything coming up that I'm aware of.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening. In your manual, or, I can't say manual, but that's about what it is anymore. I put a toolbox talk in here. This is the time of year everybody's pushing. This is about work zones, not necessarily any issues, but to get the information out. And we'll be working with the news media and asking for cooperation with the police department as we start popping up around town. We just started on our construction. It is that time to start notifying the public that we're going to be blocking their streets again. A couple of really things real quick out of your report that you have. The guys have been working in the shop till they're just about blue in the face and ready to get off the concrete, get out and get around. We've got quite a bit of things done in the shop, a lot of routine maintenance that we didn't get done even last year. So we've gotten most of that done. Worked on some storm drains and storm pipes both. Mr. Weatherwax, we're making some good progress still on our street signs. We've gotten quite a few more posts up, and new stop signs just on them. We still like a few street signs scattered around town, I know that. But we're also having problems with some, with the wind. The bigger plates are catching it, and the bracket that we've got them in only catches about that much of the bottom of the bigger plates. And it's just working that aluminum until it breaks. So we're gonna be working on those, and instead of putting that plate back in there, we're gonna put two plates on either side of the pole, and then we'll just have one up there instead of two of them catching them. So we're hoping that that'll work. Be a little extra expense, but we're hoping that that'll work on it.
Thank you, sir.
As you can see on your report, compost continues to stay busy. I tell you how many loads are coming in, that's compost loads, that's not the stuff going into the roll-off dumpsters. So, you know, besides that, you know, he's handling probably 4 or 5 of those a day or more, as well as, you know, keeping up with everything out there. So, our citizens are using our compost facilities.
Well, I wish we could use 4 or 5 more. There's really much more of this stuff.
There's a item on our second page highlighted, street sign evaluation. Because we've gone to the reflective stop signs and street signs, are required to check those every so often. So we've been driving all of our streets, checking our signs and making note of that type of thing. And then, if any of you are out and about town today, this morning, you may have seen a new Barney in town, except it was white. We had a demo truck here today. They were in the south part of the region and came by and just showed us a truck. Of course, as it happened, a brand new truck broke down. They learned a long time ago, and the salesman was telling me, he said, I thought it was crazy when I was being trained. He said, when we get through with the demonstration, we go back to the motel, we go through the truck. We go through the whole process of checking everything. He said, last night, it worked great. He said, we got up this morning, and it didn't. The sensor was out, and of course, it wasn't time to order a sensor. But they were still able to do some work with it, and they'll be back with it later on. We're not quite ready. He said we haven't quite got enough money in there to take care of
What's
that.
the price tag on one of those?
Well, I mean, it's like anything, honestly, it's like anything else. The truck that was here today had some bells and whistles on it we don't need, and it was like $420. We think, in working with them, with the trade-in, and trying to work some deals and stuff like that, we can probably get it down, less than 400, stuff. That's one of the things the citizens passed the tax for, was try to, upgrade that equipment. But, it'll be fall before we, really start looking at that. But, this was a truck they just got out on the road, not necessarily the one we feel like we have to have. Thank you all.
Thank you,
Walter.
sir.
Thank you.
Again, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
That's the same thing.
You don't even need a roll call to speak there. You have before you a resolution approving the election that was held on April the 3rd. You just need to vote on the resolution to accept the results, certify the results.
Need a motion?
Yes.
So.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries. Next item on unfinished business is to discuss and come up with a solution for the roof on our compress building. We have a customer in there that's put up with a leaky roof for at least the last 6 to 8 months. At this point, we have the numbers.
We have the bids.
While she's looking that up, I'll go to the next item, that's to bid for work to take down the old Spence Farm building on St. Francis Street. I'd like to delay this or put it off right now. We have another option that has been brought forth.
And we only have one bid.
We only had one bid, so we've got another option brought up, and at this point, we'd like to table that and bring that back to you at the next meeting.
What building was that?
Excuse me?
What building was that?
This, the old Spence building there, on the,
By the old bank, Kennedy driveway.
right up, yeah. Where the sidewalk's blocked off is the building, so it'll fall over.
You say it,
I can. Been on it.
we'll hold it, you guys.
Good, how big a wings this?
I was just thinking it was kinda sad that only 998 people voted in the whole city for the election.
Well, that's a whole 10.
Yeah. It's not a lot of people for the city of Kennedy.
I agree with you, but I guess you have to look at it to have a right to vote or not vote. Up to them.
No right to complain.
I didn't say that. It used to be.
Yep.
While we're waiting on Diane, in your package you have list of committee assignments for 2018, 2019.
Well, Mayor, we'll get more papers up, I think we need to do that with the new council. Yeah.
Never mind, we'll hold up on that before we get,
God, singing thanks for us.
just trying to move forward. I had a copy. Sorry about that. Okay, back on the roof for the complex building, which is currently occupied by a renter. We have two bids here, first one being from Jonesboro Roofing. This bid is to repair all the damage, and the cost is $47,389. They give you a 1-year warranty on the work. The other bid is from Yessi Brothers out of Lynn, Missouri. This is a little different approach. They repair everything, seal all the leaks, and then they apply, that's what I can describe it, it's a blown-on coating on the roof. You see them around town, they're white. That's their seal. The cost is $95,400, but they give a 10-year warranty on it. So basically what it boils down to, for double the money, you get 10 years warranty versus 1 year warranty. We as landlords, I'm embarrassed and really ashamed that we haven't resolved this problem long before now, because it has been a good 8 months in the process. And these folks have put up with numerous leaks out there.
I want to mention that we're making about 18,000 a year from that building.
Where do we stand, so this was one building never did this?
We can take it out of the industrial,
Our recommendation would be to take it out of the industrial development funds. Yeah,
the money is there.
use money to take care of this.
It's just the one building for the 95?
This is the one building,
Mhm.
the occupied in there. The ball's in the council's court. We have to decide we're either gonna be in business or we're not gonna be in business. And if we are, we're gonna have to fix up our properties so they can be utilized by customers.
What's your recommendation?
Well, the first one sounds like it's a temporary fix to me. We might buy ourselves a year, but then we're gonna be in the same situation again.
Do we
This
know
time
any
next
of the
year.
work that this company has done, the one that's 95,000? Are we familiar with
I
them?
think they've done work for the city before.
They have?
Yes.
Yes.
I think we'll do this, we're looking in for the long haul, so we'll get as permanent fix as we can. I'll make a motion, we accept the bid for 95,000.
So
Have a motion, a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All
So
in
moved.
favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
We tried the patch job and that
That
didn't work at all
for us.
with whoever it was that we tried to hire to do that.
Sure they did not.
Well, I just wanted to put that out.
Taking the
Exactly.
expense right now. This time, we have some resolutions we would like to take care of.
Scott.
This time, we have a resolution that be it resolved by the City Council, City of Kent, Missouri as follows. Whereas Scott Tudor was hired as a part-time firefighter in March 1987, 2 years old, right? Yeah. And faithfully served the citizens of Kent 31 years, answering the page to fight a fire or to perform a rescue. Whereas Scott Tudor received his national certification as a firefighter 3 in 1991, and his national certification as a fire inspector in 1991. Mr. Tudor was promoted fire captain in 1995 and appointed as fire marshal in 1999. He received a Meritorious Service Award for his actions in saving a life on August 24, 2016. Whereas the City of Kent appreciates his family understanding and supporting his time away from home to help the citizens of our fine city, perhaps missing many family events. Whereas it's altogether fitting and proper that recognition be given by our community to Scott Tudor for his dedicated service to the citizens of the city of Kent, Missouri. And therefore be it resolved by the mayor of the city of Kent, Missouri, that Scott Tudor is recognized for his exemplary service to the people of Kent, Missouri. I ask and approve this 10th day of April 2018. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
He's, Walter's next. They have to fill up the page.
Resolution. Be it resolved by the City Council, City of Kent, Missouri as follows. Whereas Walter Deering agreed to serve as a Ward 3 councilman in 2016 and has faithfully served the citizens of Kent for 2 years as a councilman. Whereas public service has always been all of Walter Deering's life, beginning in 1973 as a police officer in the Poplar Bluff Police Department. In 1975, he joined the Butler County Sheriff's Department. In 1977, became a member of Duncan County Sheriff's Department. In 1979, he graduated from the FBI Academy He became an investigator for the Duncan County Prosecuting Attorney. He became the first commander of the Duncan County Major Case Squad in 1992 and held that position until he retired in 2008. Since retirement, he is in charge of the SEMO Community Services Private Probation Office, which serves multiple counties and jurisdictions. Whereas the City of Canton appreciates Walter's family's understanding and support of his time away from home to help the citizens of our fine city, perhaps missing many family events. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor of the City of Kennet, Missouri, that Walter Deering is recognized for his exemplary service to the people of Kennet, Missouri. Passed and approved the 17th day of April 2018. Walter, we appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
City of Kennet, Missouri, proclamation. Whereas preventing child abuse and neglect is a community problem with potential involvement of people throughout the community. Whereas some child maltreatment occurs when people find themselves in stressful situations without community resources and don't know how to cope. Whereas the majority of child abuse cases stem from situations and conditions that are preventable in an engaged and supportive community. Whereas child support and neglect can be reduced by making sure each family has the support they need to raise their children in a healthy environment. Whereas child abuse and neglect not only directly harms children, but can also increase the likelihood of criminal behavior, substance abuse, health problems such as heart disease and obesity, and risky behaviors such as smoking and alcohol use. Whereas all citizens should become involved in supporting families and raising their children in a safe, nurturing environment. Whereas important partnerships have been formed among criminal and criminal justice agencies, victim services, and the private sector to ensure that crime victims are treated with dignity and respect. Whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeed because of partnerships created among health and social service agencies, schools, faith communities, civic organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. Therefore, I do hereby proclaim April as Child Abuse Prevention Month on the week of April 15, 21 as Week of the Young Child in the City of Kennet, Missouri, and call upon all citizens, community agencies, faith groups, medical facilities, and businesses to increase their participation in the community's effort to support families, thereby preventing child abuse and child sexual abuse and strengthening the communities in which we live. In testimony thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the great seal of the City of Kennet this 13th day of April 2018. Becky, thank you for your
Yeah, protecting children is everyone's job.
Thank you.
There was, this is the other one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We have to adjourn the old council. In the interim, you swear in new council.
Okay.
At this point, we need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Other side.
Aye.
You're part of the new. Okay, if the new councilman will come down front, please.
Nice. Right, Fred. Always.
He scrapped that out.
Got a wood, give a wood bird and say. I hope you don't get a new one.
That's the next question here.
All right, gentlemen, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Robert Butterwax,
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
the provisions of all laws of this state
the provisions of all laws of this state,
affecting cities of the third class,
affecting cities of the third class,
and the ordinances of the City of Kennet,
and the ordinances of the City of Kennet,
that I possess all of the qualifications
and that I possess all of the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of which I was elected on the
for the office of which I was elected on the
third
third
day of April 2018,
2018.
and will faithfully demean
and will faithfully demean
myself while in office.
myself while in office.
Congratulations. I need you all to sign that and give it back to me, make sure I still have all. And then
Thank you, sir.
you get to come up here. I guess y'all could clap.
Oh, yeah.
John, I left some papers down there, don't worry.
Mark, I'll look at your nice name, please.
I see
Isn't
that.
that nice? Didn't get them ordered in time.
Go get another one next budget year.
Yeah, let's see what the tax revenue does.
You get that memorized, huh?
Said it a few times.
Okay, with our new members, we'll reopen our session. Start off, we'll set a public hearing date for the sales tax allocation.
Do we need to open the new?
No, Maryland just
Okay.
forwarded.
All right. Sorry.
We've selected May 15th as the public hearing date. The sales tax allocation is well, we got the new committee.
Is that like before the regular council meeting? Okay.
In the package, you have a sheet of committee appointments for 2018-19.
Motion to approve.
Approved. Any questions or problems? Did you get a second on that?
Second.
Second?
I had you down to do in a second. Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yeah, yes.
At this time, the council needs to select a mayor pro tem for the upcoming year. Mr. Wilson is serving that mayor this year.
I was gonna say, the last one we had, I think, done an excellent job.
I agree.
I'll make that motion.
I'll
Second it.
Motion second.
Sorry, sir.
What friends
Still a vote.
Got a nomination, any other nominations? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Did you say aye, Kenny?
I said no.
Oh, I thought it was the only one.
I mean, depends what this name.
Lease, you need to do that.
Yeah, in front of you, you have an agricultural lease. It's a lease for farming some of the airport property. It's a little bit, they're farming less ground than they have in the past. It's an annual lease, 1-year lease, and the total lease price is $4,437. We just need to approve that. It's, the terms of the lease are identical to the last
Do you
few
need a
years,
motion?
except for the amount.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Also in your package, you have the city address and water accounts payable report?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Also, you have the city of Kennett's accounts payable list.
Motion.
Motion second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
This is not here tonight, but somewhere in here.
Yeah, we got the chamber.
Well, listen, I noticed that the annual Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors banquet will be Thursday, March 24th, preceded by a silent auction at 5:30, dinner at 6:30. It's in the Baptist Family Life Center. With the Snow Ball Beach, table 8275. The keynote speaker will be Mark Mitchell. The baseball fans may remember him. He played for the Kansas City Royals, and then I think finished his career with the Cardinals. So, the list of achievements he's got here on the list. So that's coming up, and council members, if you contact Diane, with your plans. I think at this time we have a Boy Scout going around here.
Hey.
Hi, my name is Gavin Lineberry. I'm from Boy Scouts Troop 272. I'm here for the
Communication.
yeah, communications badge. I have a question. In Boy Scouts, we have this book that tells us what to do and what not to do. I was wondering if you guys have anything like that.
We do, but our book is like this. It's real big. I'd be more than happy to let you have mine.
And we have the Constitution that we're supposed to abide by as well, so that's part of what.
And you do
this
too.
morning.
Good question.
That is a good question.
Just don't take his book unless he's read all of it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Believe me, you will.
You were in for it.
I got one for you.
At this time, we'll open the floor for public comments. Anyone like to address the council?
Okay, on the St. Francis Street project, I think at the last city council, someone brought up something about sidewalks that they weren't sure about. The business owner had discussed, not wanting them.
This business owner discussed not needing them.
Okay.
That was their,
Alright. Well, which one it is, so I can make sure they understand exactly what, because we've explained from up here that the sidewalks will be poured at the same time as everything else, because they'll all be the same thickness, because they have to be drivable and parkable. Because on that property, up and down through there, vehicles are gonna be going over them every single day. So, whether it's delineated by some paint or a cut down through there, it's all gonna be the same thickness and everything else. It's not gonna be like what's in front of your house. That's 2-3 inches thick. This'll be, I haven't taken the measurement out there, but thank you for fixing walnut. That looks about 5-6 inches thick. So whatever the normal thickness is, I don't know how to read a blueprint. I mean, I can read an x-ray, but I can't read a blueprint. So whatever the normal thickness is, that's what it's gonna be. But it's still, it's part of the grant of what the CDBG wanted down through there. So if he doesn't want a sidewalk, then can't do that part of the grant.
well, they are no longer in business.
Oh,
They were
Then
in
why are they
business for,
concerned
many-
about it?
they were in business for many years.
okay.
I asked them about how much
Yeah.
foot traffic there was along there.
Okay, so, but it's, you know, I know every day I see, especially kids walking past through there. So it's, there's more than what most people think unless you're sitting there every day, you see quite a bit. But on that, let me bring my picture back up.
Well, this gentleman said that he sat there for 30 years and watched people walk up and down. He said there just weren't that many.
That-
That was his opinion.
Okay, well, it's all part of it, and it's part of that main footage. And, it's just, you know, whether it's, like I said, whether it's delineated by, you know, an actual separated, because it's gonna have to be a little bit more level than, you know, the water ran off, but it still's gotta be there for, you know, scooters, wheelchairs, walkers, anything else, you know, that it goes up and down through there. The rest of the town has it, so why shouldn't St. Francis? It's your ward, and it's your ward, so, ward. So, okay, but, a little bit of a time delay snag from CDC is, or CDBG is, they've requested another report that if they wanted it, they should have requested it, you know, last year. But, you know, they were going through and previewing since they've already approved it. It is, I just received a response from the Department of Economic Development, the environmental review in regards for the primary engineering report, PER. They took a look at the layout as well as the alternatives of the project. During this examination saw that there were no project alternatives included in the PER. The DED and HUD are asking for revised PER, even though we are already in the design stage. Describing the project alternatives, besides no actions that have been, you know, describing any alternatives besides no actions and projects at hand. So basically, Metz is writing up another report to send to them saying that this is the one and only option for it. Any other options would be more expensive. So he is working on that, finishing up, that with, so, you know, I know at the, one street department meeting a few weeks ago, he was hoping to go to bid, you know, have bid packets at the end of the month, to start going out. I don't know if it's gonna slow that down or not. It just depends on bids and on how close they get all that together. And so, any other questions on St. Francis? Nope.
Yeah, where does it start and end again? 'Cause I'm
Basically, Fonts Conoco to the four-way.
so,
So Jones to Street all the way down.
Jones.
I don't know why I thought it went from the square down.
No. The square to Fonts already has sidewalks,
Right.
that from Fonts it changes.
Gonna have a street department meeting next Tuesday, a week from tonight, Pam. Could you attend at 5:30?
Okay.
Could you attend that?
Sure.
And, maybe you and I can talk ahead of that a little bit
Alright.
as well. Okay,
Alright.
thank you.
And then, the other aspect, whenever we're talking about the street sweeper, what tax was that money coming out of?
We're not taking it out of any tax right now. What we're looking at is, eventually it may be the stormwater. But that's what that is all about, is controlling of the waste that gets into the stormwater system.
So are we gonna fix Third Street before buying it, or,
It's, yeah, the Third Street is happening.
okay,
That's a priority.
Yeah, I just asked how much it was out of curiosity. We hadn't talked about
We hadn't
buying it
talked about
or anything like that.
no, but it was said that it was gonna be coming out of a tax, instead of saying which one, that's why I was wondering, that, I mean, Third Street's been down now.
No,
going on
Third
5
Third
years.
Street is priority. Third Street is our work.
Okay,
So that was the thing that we emphasized with that stormwater
yeah,
package, and that's gonna be taken care of.
okay,
That's an embarrassment.
so.
It needs to be dealt with.
And then one other question, talking with Melissa Combs, she wasn't here, she's at a training right now for the chamber, that the chamber's budget or amount in their bank account seems to be a little less than what it should be, because one of the hotel properties is not caught up or several months behind. Is there any progress on that?
They get a set amount of money based on their contract, that has nothing to do with tourism.
Has none to-
And that- You're talking about tourism tax.
Yeah, it's,
And,
Totally
yeah,
two different things.
they control who we give that money to. That's all the chamber does with that tax.
okay, I just told her whenever I was talking with her the other day, so I'd bring it up answers our questions. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to address the council? Council have anything?
I'm good.
If not, we'll adjourn and then go into closed session after.
You need to,
Call a vote.
Aye.
Hi.
Yes.
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 Aye.
I'm gonna get